Taipei is the third most expensive city in 2021. Taiwan ranks 7th in IMD World Competitiveness. United States to launch West Asia Squad. US Fed raises rates by 75 basis points. Australia raises minimum wage. FINRA welcomes laid-off crypto employees. Yellowstone closes due to historic flooding. Air pollution cuts lifespan by 10 years in Delhi.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's June 16th, Thursday, and here are your top stories. According to Julius Baer's Global Wealth and Lifestyle 2022 report released on June 15th, Taipei ranked higher than Tokyo, Paris, and New York, Dubai, and many more cities, leading the world in wealth, ranked as the third most expensive city in the world in 2021. Shanghai tops the list again, with London taking second place and Taipei leading the pack in third, followed by Hong Kong and Singapore, with Tokyo in 8th place.
The Julius Baer report, published on June 15th, analyzes the price of around 20 personal goods and services in 24 cities around the world, as well as bankable homes worth more than $1 million that the average person would buy, ranked according to data collected twice between November 2020 and April 2021. Moscow was removed from the ranking. Overall, the report showed that the cost of technology items such as laptops and mobile phones will rise the most globally in 2021 by 41%. This is mainly due to the shift to home-based work and the global shortage of chips.
The International Institute for Management Development (IMD) released its World Competitiveness Yearbook 2022 on June 15th, ranking Taiwan 7th, up one place, the highest ranking for Taiwan in the world since 2013. Among Asian countries, Taiwan is the third most competitive economy behind Singapore and Hong Kong. Denmark ranks as the most competitive country in the world, followed by Switzerland and Singapore, while Sweden is fourth, ahead of Hong Kong and the Netherlands in 6th place.
According to the opinion in the yearbook provided by Taiwan's National Development Council, the challenges ahead for Taiwan includes promoting sustainable development, technology innovation, and a digital transition, as well as deepening international cooperation to strengthen economic resilience. Among the 4 indicators used to compile the rankings, Taiwan ranks 6th in business efficiency, 8th in government efficiency, 11th in economic performance, and 13th in infrastructure.
The United States will launch a new foreign nation dialogue with India, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. It will be launching during U.S. President Joe Biden's visit to Israel, his first leg of his maiden trip as president to West Asia from July 13th to 16th. The new initiative will be called I2U2 for India and Israel, whose names begin with the letter I, and the U.S. and the UAE that begin with the letter U. Biden will also visit West Bank, home to the Palestinian Authority, and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where he will meet around a dozen regional leaders.
A senior Biden White House official said that a new initiative will be launched in a virtual call Biden will hold with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Israel Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. They will discuss security and areas of cooperation across hemispheres, where UAE and Israel serve as important innovation hubs. A spokesperson for the White House said I2U2 is focused on expanding economic and political cooperation in the Middle East and Asia.
The U.S. Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 0.75 of a percentage point on June 15th, the largest increase since 1994, suggesting that the Fed will raise rates again this year. The U.S. Central Bank is stepping up its aggressive approach to curb runaway inflation, which has only been seen in 4 decades. Bloomberg said Chairman Jeremy Powell and colleagues expect rates to rise to 3.4% by the end of the year, which means the Fed will tighten by another 175 basis points this year.
Bloomberg reported the U.S. Federal Open Market Committee on June 15 said it anticipates the ongoing increase in the target range will be appropriate. It said the committee is strongly committed to returning inflation to its 2% objective. The central bankers also revised their outlook for the economy from the soft landing scenario of March to a bumpier touchdown, underscoring the tough task Powell faces as he tries to tame inflation running about 3 times the Fed's 2% target without causing a recession.
The Australian Fair Work Commission increased the minimum basic wage by 5.2% on June 15th, more than double the rate of last year's increase, allowing the lowest paid workers to earn at least $14.74 an hour from July 1st, benefiting more than 2 million workers. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he absolutely welcomes the hike, which will enable a full-time worker to earn an extra $40 a week. While this decision will help offset almost all of the increases in the cost of living, it also risks adding fuel to the fire of high inflation.
The president of the Fair Work Commission, Justice Ian Ross, said the decision will not have a significant adverse effect on the performance and competitiveness of the national economy. The new Australian centre-left Labour government backed an inflation-matching 5.1% rise in minimum wage during its election campaign. Yet inflation has not stood still, with Reserve Bank of Australia's Governor Philip Lowe warning it will likely accelerate to 7% by the end of the year, heights not witnessed since 1990.
Cryptocurrencies prices have dropped sharply in recent weeks. Crypto exchange company Coinbase Global said on June 14th it will cut about 1,100 jobs to ride out the downturn in the crypto sphere. Companies like BlockFi and Crypto.com have also slashed hundreds of jobs, but the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as FINRA, plans to increase its resources to understand and monitor cryptocurrencies as more of the Wall Street watchdog's members trade digital assets.
FINRA's Chief Executive Officer, Robert Cook, said FINRA has several dozen members that have been approved to trade digital asset securities, as well as members who allow customers to access crypto products, and members with registered representatives who have outside business activities around crypto. The regulator is also developing digital assets verification techniques and is looking at whether it can do cross-market surveillance on various blockchains. FINRA expects that it will be the primary regulator for digital assets.
Historic floods forced a summertime closure of Yellowstone National Park in its first natural disaster in 30 years. Rural communities of Montana and Wyoming were cut off. Emergency crews scrambled to reopen roads and restore utilities on June 14th. The upheaval followed one of the region's wettest springs in many years and coincided with a sudden spike in summer temperatures that have hastened runoff of melting snow in the park's higher elevations from late winter storms.
Montana Governor Greg Gianforte declared a statewide disaster, with rescue and relief efforts focused in 3 counties after days of record rainfall that triggered epic flooding, mudslides, and rockfall in the greater Yellowstone region. Major sections of the park's northern half are expected to remain closed for the rest of the season. By June 15th, all of Yellowstone's visitors, at least 10,000 people, had been safely evacuated, except for a dozen backcountry campers still making their way out on their own.
Air pollution is costing the average person 2.2 years of life, more than the risk of smoking, alcohol use, unsafe water and sanitation, HIV, AIDS, and conflict and terrorism. According to the report by the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago, air pollution in Delhi has shortened lives of people living there by 10 years. A Lancet report of 2019 reported that 1.67 million people died from air pollution in India alone, the highest number of pollution-related deaths of any country.
The University of Chicago report found that Delhi, India, had a high suspended particulate level of 107.6, more than 10 times the World Health Organization's safety limit of 5. Unfortunately, PM 2.5 particulates are tiny particles of toxic substance that can attach themselves to the deepest parts of a person's lungs and other organs, reducing their resistance. The report also states that if air pollution level were reduced to WHO standards, it is estimated that 240 million people in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh could live an extra 10 years.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.